All right, we're just about 3 minutes into this test. So
we're good?
Yeah, I think that'll be a good enough test. All right,
Bump mics. Cheers.
Yeah. What a kiss. What's up, everybody? One Set Podcast coming at you, the third live installment.
Episode 30.
We are in La Casa of Jim Green on this one, switching it up in the pool.
We are doing summer things today.
Summer.
We have these fun little festive Christmas and July outfits.
Yeah.
Our buddy Anthony here found these like what a month ago,
About
6
month
weeks ago.
Yeah, we had to do it to him.
Oh yeah, we had to do it to him. We were gonna do the pool float thing. We tested that out. We didn't want to get our equipment wet.
Yeah.
So
this is the next best thing. I think it's pretty cool.
Yeah, I think so. Literally cool because we're in the pool.
Dude, right, cool be in the pool.
Oh man, summertime. We are filming this. What is today? The 16th of July.
16th of July. Yeah.
Yeah. We wanted to plan ahead, get this recorded just in case if the weekend that we would have recorded this would have been next weekend. In case that got rained out, we would have had this published in time for you guys for episode 30, which is coming out. What we say, the 29th.
Yeah, this will be coming out Friday the 29th of July.
Today's Saturday the 16th. So
it's we're about two weeks behind, but yeah,
it's good.
Yeah, so this has been fun, and I think the live events have been kind of cool for us to kind of make it a little bit more diverse in the podcast to show you guys we actually do hang out in person.
It's true. We find the time amidst we have very opposite schedules, and Anthony being a dad to an almost, he'll be 2 years old.
Yeah,
when this comes out. Published.
When this comes out, we'll be having his birthday party the next day, and then on the 2nd of August, he'll be officially 2 years old.
Can't believe it, man. I can't believe it.
It's been a crazy 2 years already with the fact that so much growth he's been in, and like I told you when he was one, it's amazing how much they grow in that first year, and even this second year, it's just like now he's walking, running around, and he's starting to really try to have a conversation with you, but it's just more babbling. But and then he's just making us laugh 24/7. He's such a funny kid.
Absolutely. And I know, especially for you and for, our personalities both jive so much with as far as sense of humor is concerned. We laugh at almost anything.
Yeah. Did you see the one thing that I sent you with him, like the Spidey Man thing, like fly?
Yeah.
I didn't even know he was gonna do it. I just said fly, and he's like fly, and I'm like, oh crap! I gotta show this to Jim.
Good old Tobey Maguire, fly.
Yeah. Shouts out Tobey Maguire.
Shout out Toby.
Toby,
man.
But dude, since we're talking summer, maybe we could first talk about our biggest, first summer, festivity together.
Let's go back. Let's go before that.
Okay.
And talk about some of our most memorable moments, like growing up as kids in the summer. Now that's going to be mostly like your own thing and my own thing,
right?
And, like what summers meant for each of us growing up. But then we got to talk about the one.
Yes,
sure.
Of course, the one,
obviously, right? And you go first. This was kind of
summers as a kid, I've always been a beach kid, so mostly it's been going down to Ocean City, Maryland in the summer, and we would do a week vacation down there. That was always been our spot.
Love Ocean City, Maryland, by the way.
Yeah, it's amazing. And today it's kind of changed a little bit. Rightfully so. Everything always kind of has a little bit of a change to it.
I think most of the beaches and shores have changed a little bit.
We always like going to the dinosaur and on the underwater miniature golf. I think it was on No, not 45th. I think the 45th Street is the start of Ocean City, Maryland. So it was like the middle of the.
So Ocean City, Maryland, it goes up to like 150 streets, I think. But if you're down near like the convention center, which is on like 41st Street, there's the dough roller, or at least I don't know if it's still there anymore. They used to have a dough roller there, but right off the corner of the convention center, they had a golf course there.
Yeah,
I think I've probably been to that one in Ocean City the most, and we'll get back to that in a moment when I talk about my Ocean City, Maryland summers. Go ahead, back to you.
Nah, just like Ocean City, Maryland was definitely, like I said, our big go-to during the summer. It wasn't till maybe 5th or 6th grade I really started going to the Jersey Shore with a family friend, and we went there a couple times because their thing was going to the Jersey Shore, going to like Wildwood and Ocean City, Jersey.
Well, was that family from Jersey though?
No. They were actually a family friend like right down the street from us.
Oh, okay.
And so we used to, tag along. They had a family, and we the whole duo family thing was bring the kids, and they'll have fun, let them play, and we'll just drink beers.
Kids entertain each other. Adults get to hang out. Yeah,
I totally understand that now.
You get it? Of course.
But other than the beach, I mean, the typical going to like water parks and things that like kids, just kind of rage. That was always fun. I'm sure we went to Sesame Place a handful of times, and I
think I've only been to Sesame Place once.
Yeah, we went and took our niece there a couple years ago because she lives in Florida, so she hasn't like seen Sesame Place. So we took her there, and she had a fun time, and to the point I don't really remember it from being a kid, so it was kind of all new to me at that point. But
you were like, it's not quite Disney World, but it's still pretty fun.
It's like the hood version of Disney. You get what you get.
That's good. That's good.
Hi, bird.
Oh man, yeah.
What were some things you did in the summer that you can kind of remember?
I always acclimate like my memory to how old I was, and I know I've talked about this before at length with the dance stuff, but I could tell, as I'm getting older now, some of it's starting to fade a little bit, but depending on how old I was, I remember, what songs I danced to, who I danced with. So, and that to me, like the way that the competition circuit is set up, the end of the year, the season is like right now in July. Well, yeah, we had nationals running the end of June, and they go all the way until like the 3rd, 4th week of July. Right. Most of them have already happened or are concluding now. I do have one coming up next week. It will have already passed by the time that this gets published. Right. That one's in Atlantic City in Jersey. But growing up, the studio I grew up at, we did nationals at Ocean City, Maryland every summer. So I think I went with you the one time, right? I think when I was older, you went with me the one time. Yeah. Because I want to say that was around when my parents had the beach house in Rehoboth. Right. Yeah. So that was like an easy, it was a 45-minute drive from easy there. Trip. Yeah. So we didn't even have to rent a room. No. I think at some point, I think my dad got a promotion at work, and then my mom was like working a lot of hours at the time. So like their joint income was like, instead of renting a room every summer, like let's get smart about this and just get a beach house, and then we can go there whenever we want. So before the beach house, what hotel did you usually stay at? I'll tell you. I know the hotel we usually stay at. I'll tell you after you tell me if you remember. There's this one spot. It's called Diamond something. It's like across from the convention center. Okay. On 39th, I think. I don't know if it's called that anymore. I just know like that was 20 years ago now. Yeah, it makes sense. So you stayed close to the convention center instead of the one place which was Bayside. So you had to walk across the street to get to the beach. But it was directly across the street, like adjacent to the convention center. So you didn't have to cross Coastal Highway to get to it. It was basically like you were an earshot away and you were in the convention center, which is, if you've never been, convention center in Ocean City, Maryland, it's pretty big. It's a pretty big place.
Oh yeah.
It's not like the
huge.
It's not it's not like the convention center in Philly. That place is like massive.
Yeah, but that's pretty
for Ocean City, Maryland, it's a pretty big place.
Yeah. And it was nice in there. Like I said, I don't think I've been in there since going there with you.
Yeah, they have a huge theater in the upstairs. Like the stage is just large. As I got older, I realized like, okay, I'm trying to like spread myself across the stage so that the performance isn't like still. And I'm like, how did I do this 10 years ago when I was like a dweeb?
Right.
I was,
just a lad.
Just a little squirt.
Just a little lad.
Yeah. Just a little
lily pad.
Lily. A la 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 la. A la 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 la. Yeah.
Great.
Yeah, that. Okay, good. Yeah. So, yeah. So, I mean, every summer I could like kind of remember between 5th grade and 12th grade, like, because we did nationals at that convention center every summer as I was growing up.
Mm-hmm.
So it was just a matter of like when I was younger, we didn't have the beach house yet, so we would get the room kind of thing. And then when we got older, it was just like, well, we have the house, we're 45 minutes away. Like, it's easy.
Exactly.
As long as none of us had to compete at like 7 a.m., which may have happened here and there, and we just sucked it up. But it's better than like my parents spending the room, especially feeding 4 kids at the time. Like, it was my 2 older sisters, myself, and my younger sister, and that's if any of my older sisters didn't have like their boyfriends coming along at the time. Like sometimes our rooms would, and even if they brought friends or any of their dance friends stayed with us because their parents stayed home because they had to work kind of thing.
Yeah.
Sometimes our room would have like up to a dozen people in it. So it was kind of a big party. And again, just like you said, like us kids would basically just entertain ourselves, and my parents would be like, well, we're going to Secrets. Bye.
Right. Yeah. I think I've never, have I? If I did, I don't remember. I don't think I've ever been to Secrets, and I've always wanted to go.
You should do it once.
Yeah,
I'm not like, oh my god, I gotta go there every summer. Like,
yeah, I mean, I know a couple friends and musician friends that play there every summer, and it looks like it's definitely a good time over there. I just never got a chance to really go. I think we had one time, so like, oh, we'll just go there, but then it didn't really work out. But
it's an experience. Like you got to go there once during the day and then once at night, or you go in the evening so that you get the best of both. Like if you go, I guess, happy hour time, like 5-6 o'clock, and then you're just there until 10 or 11, then because they have live music probably all day long.
Oh yeah.
If they don't have a band playing during the day, they got a DJ playing music for sure.
100%.
It's I mean, it's still there.
Yeah.
Like after all of this time, like clearly they have, like, they're a huge attraction for Ocean City, Maryland.
Yeah,
for sure.
Absolutely.
Also, Ocean City, Maryland, the boardwalk is like pretty great in my opinion.
Oh yeah. Yeah. The now this, I think this is because I always sometimes get mixed up with the Jersey boardwalk and then Ocean City, Maryland. But from what I remember, they had the didn't they have the Ripley's Believe It or Not in Ocean City, Maryland? Because I always remember the big shark coming out. Yeah. So that was always one that I always remembered, having that big shark coming out. And
I never actually went into the Ripley's. It's like it's not a
like
museum.
There, or you've never been to Ripley's at all?
So I've been to a Ripley's in Hollywood, actually.
Okay.
But I never been to the one in Ocean City, Maryland.
We went there because that was me and Jen's first like time that she came on vacation with my family, and we went to the Ripley's, believe it or not, and we have picture evidence, and so I'm sure she's been there before that, but like it was one of those times like, oh, why don't you just come on vacation with my family? And so we're still together, so it worked out pretty good.
I was gonna say it wasn't like bomb.
No, we didn't bomb. Like
you take the girl you're seeing on vacation in the summer for the first time, and then it's like you don't even make it home, and it's like this ain't gonna work out.
It ain't gonna work out.
I don't think that I don't think I've ever experienced that. Obviously you settled in with like the first person that you got into a serious relationship with. You were like, I'm good.
Yeah. Okay, good.
You lucked out.
Yeah.
Because things are working out well. You guys are doing great.
Yeah.
I mean, for me, I'm just trying to figure it out still. Not trying to figure it out. Obviously, Cheyenne and I are good right now. But
in a good spot. That's all that matters.
Yeah, I think growing up, the different people that I like, it's not like I ever took someone away on vacation and they were like, God, he is terrible. So yeah, I mean, I have that going for me.
Disclaimer
at the very least. But yeah, growing up,
most of your summers down in Ocean City, Maryland, were mainly in Ocean City, Maryland, due to a lot of your dance competitions. Were there times that you went there when it wasn't a competition?
Well, my mom's family had a place in Rehoboth. So when I was like 3, 4, 5 years old, my parents used to do Ocean City, New Jersey.
Yeah.
Because it's such a family-friendly beach town. And I mean, at that time, it was just me and my 2 older sisters. My younger sister wasn't born yet.
Right.
And at the time, like, my mom didn't drink when we were, like, young like that. She was just, like, she was, doing the I have 3 kids thing. I need to be, like, there at all times.
Right.
My dad, on the other hand, enjoyed his beer, which, like, get it. He worked crazy hours, and then he'd come home and tie a couple on, and like that, was just dad things.
Oh yeah, yeah. I, like I said, I think our dads are the same. Like we kind of they were the workaholics, and like I think I earned a beer today.
Yeah,
so,
think so.
I'm gonna go to bed now.
Yeah, so I think once maybe when I was like 6 or 7 before my baby sister was born, we stayed at my mom's brothers in Rehoboth. And I think my parents just fell in love with Rehoboth Beach then. I mean, we're going back almost 30 years.
Right.
And Rehoboth has definitely changed so much since, like I said, 30 years. I'm talking about the early 90s when we first went there. When you drive through Rehoboth now, it's outlets, it's stores, it's restaurants. It's like it used to be open fields, like all over the place. Like,
right.
I'm pretty sure the outlets had always been there, but like there was a lot of open like land in between. Now there's barely even, it's like Manhattan. There's barely even outside of Central Park, like a speck of grass anywhere.
Right.
So, it's definitely been built up, and we used to get to Rehoboth from here in an hour and like 35 minutes. It's almost definitely a 2-hour trip now. Just the traffic getting into Rehoboth, getting through Lewis.
Yeah.
Granted, our beach house was actually near it was like the Midway movie theater,
right,
which was closer to Lewis. But just to get to actually, you were at what beach were you at on this past weekend?
Ocean City, Jersey.
On Sunday, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, me, Cheyenne and I were in Rehoboth for the day.
Okay.
On the same day.
I saw you guys went somewhere, and so
tell me the beach weather wasn't perfect that day.
It was great.
My
we thought the water was going to be cold. It was like one of those times, like, you go in and it stings, but then you get used to it really quick.
Immediately.
And I am a person that doesn't like cold pool water or beach water. And we said water. We're from Delco, people.
Water.
That's
where it's at.
You say water, we're gonna come beat you down.
He's kidding.
I'm kidding.
He's kidding.
I'm so scared.
When lovers not fighters, right?
But no, I hate it when it's cold.
Super cold water.
Yeah.
I can't do it.
It takes me literally like 5-10 minutes to get used to. Like when you put your foot in, like, okay, that's comfortable. You get a little bit more in, a little comfortable. So, but yeah, this water is like perfect temp.
Yeah, and
I don't know how you do it.
My dad's a wizard. I don't know.
Shouts out to Big Jim.
Shouts out to Big Jim. Shouts out. Yeah, that. Yeah, so he was actually just talking about this with me the other day, because I told him how perfect that the water was when I got in the other day.
Uh-huh.
He's like, granted, some people open their pool like the first weekend in May because they want to like get it warmed up. But then they close it down like Labor Day weekend, or they'll do Labor Day weekend and be like,
and
close,
all right, we're done.
Yeah. So my dad actually does it like the weekend before Memorial Day weekend, so that it's open for Memorial Day weekend. But like 90% of the time, nobody's getting in because the water's still cold because it hasn't been open yet. But he won't close the pool. I remember I was in here. I think the one year was either October 2nd or October 9th. I just remember taking.
So we can probably still do the next one here, right?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, he'll take. We have the solar cover over there that definitely helps warm the water up.
Yeah.
It just depends on the September. If it's a really warm September, we're in here until the second weekend in October.
Yeah.
So
I mean, when we had our pool, I think my dad probably did around the same thing, like you either right around Memorial Day or a little after, because I mean it was just the two of us, and then I think he probably kept it up around the same time, but yeah, and then it just got to the point where it was just too much to manage, and then we just started tearing that down, and then we have like a smaller,
portable pool
for the little guys,
younger ones, right?
Then it's like he does like the chlorine management and everything, but it's totally not as much maintenance as like a bigger pool that we used to do.
Quick shout out to your brother and sister-in-law for their newborn, by the way. Gotta send that out there. Shouts out.
New baby girl.
That's it. They got little boy. He's 3.
Yes.
And the newborn little girl now. You think that they're gonna cut it there, or
I don't know. We'll see.
You're not sure.
Well, we'll see. We'll see what happens.
I
think that's kind of like the thing. Like you have one, then you're like, we'll go for a second one. Then after that, it's kind of like, okay, how are these two going to combine? And then we're like, okay, we'll just see what another year brings.
Either say, I think they're enough to handle. Keep it there,
and then you metaphorically say like, all right, let's cut it off. Like,
and like literally,
metaphorically speaking. Like,
that's great though. I mean, I was like, what pool are they at? And then I was like, that looks like his parents' backyard. But I was like, there's no way that Mr. Irvin got another pool. And then you sent me the picture, and I was like, well, I'll be damned. Look at that. and you're like, it's really simple setup, like low maintenance. I'm like, that's perfect. Like,
very, very simple thing. It has like the filter, has the little gadgets around it, but it's real portable. So like,
that's awesome.
I was even asking him like, so are you going to try to keep this up like throughout the winter? Because it might be. He's like, nah, before it gets cold, I'll tear it down, and because all those pipes are going to get frozen, so that's going to ruin everything.
Yep.
So I'll just tear it down before like the weather starts breaking, and then put it back up next year.
Sure. Now, I don't know how big the pool is. Like, I know that you were in it with Lil Tone.
For me, like, it comes up to my waist.
Okay.
So it's really not that bad.
So your parents could actually get in and just chill out in it? If
nobody was at home, like, they can totally just go in there and just chill out.
It's perfect.
Yeah.
I mean, for them, and like you said, it's low maintenance for your dad. Like,
right.
My dad's got to deal with this monster behind us. But when we lived at our old house, he and my uncle, who's a contractor, who he actually did not the old deck work, but he did like the expansion and around the pool.
Right.
They built the old pool deck, which I'm trying to. Well, yeah,
when you were doing this, me and my dad were doing our deck.
Right, but I'm trying to say, like, I don't remember. I barely remember being in my pool at my old house, but you definitely came over and gone swimming with me.
Yeah, right? We definitely went swimming in your old house. Yeah, but like I said, I vaguely remember.
Yeah, I vaguely I know I went swimming at your pool before.
You definitely have a bigger backyard here than what you had at your old house, I think, right? I think from what I remember, because again, it's been a couple years, but I think your backyard was more long instead of wide, right? Or am I mixing that up?
The old house, we lived on like a corner lot, so we had like the house and the pool were like right in the middle of the property, and then like our front yard and our side yard and our backyard.
Yeah, it all kind of merged.
They're all kind of like the same in size, in theory. Now our backyard, we had the hill, that went up into my
Right.
neighbor's yard, which we used to go sledding down. That was so much fun.
Yeah.
But that was like, you could go to the top of the hill, and then like once you were at the top of the hill, I know we're getting off summer and we're talking about sledding, but
Winner.
But like you could literally only get to the top of the hill before you're like in the neighbor's yard, and like they didn't give us a hard time, but like you couldn't like go in their yard and get like a running start to like sled down. You basically just sat there, you got on, and you took the ride down.
Right. Yeah.
That was it. But yeah, so my backyard with we had the swing set, we had a little playhouse when we were kids, we had a sandbox over here. The side yard, we had like a tire swing. Remember tire swings?
Yeah, that's a thing.
90s. Okay.
Do you think that? I mean, yeah, I guess they kind of ran out of their fame at this point. I don't see any tire swings around anymore.
You don't really see tire swings anymore.
You still kind of see the ropes hanging from a tree at like the lakes and everything every once in a while. I think that's still a thing, but tire swings are like extinct.
Yeah, they're obsolete at this point.
Yeah,
it's a bummer. Except for if you've ever been on a tire swing and someone went to do the underdog push where they run you through.
Yeah,
they lift you up. Definitely been on it once where the rope broke.
Yeah. I'm sure you're
just fell straight on my and oh god, that was not a fun day.
No,
I'll tell you that. I'm lucky I didn't break anything. Oh man, we've been pretty good about the language thing and timestamp wise because I usually do it on my laptop.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
I gotta grab
I think
that.
We're pretty good.
We're at about a half hour. Let me see.
Yeah, we're roughly about a half hour in.
So why don't you kick us off? Because I wanted to really get like my childhood summer out of the way, which between the dance competitions in Ocean City, and then once my parents fell in love with Rehoboth, and then they decided money was good, they got the beach house. So we had that. I want to say about. Excuse me. I want to say it was 2002 to 2012. We had a house, and then they bought the land next to it that was just an open plot.
Mm-hmm.
I think I talked about this before in here, but the value of the house that they bought first after being there for 5 years, like we renovated that place like a pretty good bit.
Mm-hmm.
It was like the people who lived in it before us like definitely didn't take care of it. So we had a lot of maintenance work to do on it.
Right.
We got that taken care of. And then after, I think 3 to 5 years, the value on it went up. They sold that house and then bought a prefabricated house and wound up making money off of it. Like a brand new house installed on the lot once they sold the old house. Yeah, they made out. And then they unfortunately had to sell it.
Yeah, it was a good place. I mean, we used to spend a lot of, summers down at the little shore house every once in a while if we were, spending a couple days down there.
Or we were taking the ferry over from Cape May.
Yeah, that was fun.
Oh my God!
Should we get into that?
Oh, you want to talk about summer memories? I'd say let's get back to the one summer in Ocean City, Maryland, when we were like, I think I was 14 still and you were 15. It was after 8th grade before we were going to 9th grade, right?
That was our first legit summer vacation together, right?
Yeah.
I did the same thing kind of, that I did with Jen, I guess it's a trial run. That's a trial run. So you passed the test. You're good, buddy.
Yeah. I still feel bad to this day because I ordered a Philly cheesesteak. And it came in and I took a bite and I was like, this is nasty. There's so many onions. And then I could tell your dad was not happy that I didn't eat all of it. And
it's funny because he would totally be like, swoopsie, you better eat that.
I felt so bad, but I was like, oh my God, the onions on this cheesesteak. And I tried.
Where'd you find this kid? He doesn't even eat a cheesesteak.
It's Mr. Davis's fault. Right. Just kidding. I still remember not eating that cheesesteak. And I'm like, that was strike one for Mr. Yeah. It's all right. Your mom always stuck up for me, I'm sure.
Yeah, it was
stood
good.
Up. Yeah.
Or if it's okay, he just doesn't have an appetite. Like, well, you better have an appetite tonight.
I didn't eat as a kid. And you guys, you're an Italian family. You guys ate A lot. I only eat a lot like now.
Yeah.
In the last 10 years of my life. Well, I mean, we just did the food episode, so I have a newfound appreciation for food.
Oh yeah.
I think when I started working out, I definitely started eating more. But anyway, yeah, Ocean City, Maryland. Dude, me, you, and your brother running in, smacking the waves, just
yeah. Memories. That was great.
Oh man, that was.
I still think about doing that every time I go in there now.
Because like we'd start like 50 feet back on the sand
and just
be like,
running
1, 2,
into the water.
We'd run, and then one would go off, and the other two would stand back and be like, I got you.
I'm definitely doing that with little man once he can actually like not get eaten up by the wave, like
yeah. Once he's old enough that you can just like
and not have like whiplash, and then Jen's gonna get
whoopsie
to me. Like,
that's the one.
Yeah.
Oh man.
Yeah, that was fun.
That
and miniature golf. We did the miniature golf. Obviously, going out to eat and everything, and
that nightclub experience.
Yeah. Let's go there. So there was a club. If anybody is a Ocean City, Maryland, resident or goes on vacations there in the summer, back in what was it, 98 at that point, or 99?
01, because we were going into our freshman year.
Okay.
And
so yeah, they had a club called Club 45.
Yeah.
And
I want to say August of 01. Was it Labor Day weekend? Because I feel like we were on our way back from the beach, and your mom was like, "Yeah, I got to go back to work tomorrow. Like, I got to go back to teaching."
Probably was, because usually I think it probably was, because usually we did our vacations like the week before school started, because it was like the big hurrah, like the last little trip before we had to, go back to school. So it made sense.
So it might have been the weekend before Labor Day weekend. And then your mom, because the teachers had to report in like the week before.
Yeah, she always had to report the week before to get her room cleaned up and ready and everything.
Right.
So, yeah, I think at that time she was only a teacher's aide, but she always went in there to help out everybody.
So make sure
she didn't really start actually working in a classroom until a couple of years later, but she was, she always did the recesses as like a teacher's aide outside. And I'll get to a funny story later on in maybe another podcast, but I have a funny story about, her walking me into the principal's office. We'll get to that on another podcast.
Another time.
But, no, so we went to this club called Club 45, and it was a 21 and under, or 18 and under, or some around like it, because the ones down near the end of the Ocean City, Maryland, were more like your 21 plus clubs, where this one was more of like a teenager type club. Yeah, I think.
I think there was. I think Club H2O was the one that was closer to the boardwalk. That one I got into. So I was 14 and you were 15. You had to be 15 to get into Club 45. So you were good, but I was nervous. Like I wasn't even going to be able to get in. Here I am wearing like my swooshy pants that zipped off at the knees and like an orange cut off t-shirt and like a visor. I'm like, I'm so cool right now. I was good. I was such a 90s kid.
Okay, good.
It's like, okay, good. Yeah. And then, it was like a shampoo party thing, which, as kids we're like, oh, so much fun. Now I'm like, I would never go in one of those again. So gross. So gross.
We were in there, and I don't even think we knew that there was one of those like shampoo parties. Like they had like the whole foam, or not like shampoo, foam party.
It's like a foam pit.
On
the dance floor.
And I think that was like the first, at least I'm not sure about you, but that was the first time I knew like, clubs did that. And I'm like, oh, this is pretty cool. Like, but then we're trying to like, scale the room and be like, okay, well, there's a couple good looking, teenage ladies around here.
Yeah.
But we totally bombed.
Yeah, we bombed. It was bad. I mean, Anthony over here is like, why don't we just go like say hi and talk to him? And me growing up around girls like in the dance world, I thought I'd be fine, and I like froze. I was like, can't do it. And can't do it.
Either way, I was the one kind of incentively going for it, but we still bombed, both of us. And then we ended up just chilling in the foam. We're like, yeah, this is fine.
This is cool.
It's fine. Okay, good.
Okay. This is good.
This is good.
It's like when Dave Chappelle says, "How's life?" And he's like, "I mean, it's like it's an above ground pool. I mean, it's a pool, but yeah,
living above life. It's all good."
Okay, good.
Yeah. Okay, good.
Yeah. I mean, the next summer I went into club H2O and
Yeah, we went to Club H2O a couple years later together when we were doing our senior week.
Yeah.
Well, our ex-senior week.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that was the first time I was in H2O, which was pretty cool.
I forgot you and I went in there. That was after the Cape May Lewis ferry trip, right?
That was... Yeah, because we did...
we did Wildwood first.
We did Wildwood first.
And then we hopped the ferry
and then over to Rehoboth and then did Maryland. So, yeah, that was like a couple days after our little ordeal of going over that ferry.
Yeah,
and
that was fun because we didn't do the senior class trip thing.
Yeah.
Like, we didn't go to Disney.
And I felt, because the senior weeks back then, especially in state of Maryland, you had a lot of the cops back then that were kind of patrolling everything.
Right.
So, you knew you weren't, not that we were pretty like, ragey kids. We didn't really do a lot of partying.
No, we weren't.
But,
didn't partake in the underage drinking thing.
No, I mean, the first time I had a legit drink was with you at your house.
Yeah.
And, and I tried to tell my mom, like, I'm just going to spend the night at Jim's. We're just going to play video games.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, for you, I mean, you being older, like for my 21st birthday, even, which is a February winter story, like us doing the party bus down to Atlantic City.
Yeah, that was
when
cool.
Atlantic City was like booming, and now it's like super beat.
Yeah, it still has a little bit of a flame going. But it's definitely not like what it used to be.
It used to be. It was like a mini Vegas.
Yeah,
at one point.
Absolutely. Yeah.
And when I say mini, I mean like definitely a mini Vegas.
mini. Yeah,
I'll get into the Vegas summer chat maybe in a little bit because I did the 10 days in Vegas. It was like the end of July going into August, so we're talking 95 degree. Almost 100-degree weather.
Oh yeah,
it was pretty hot. But yeah, I mean that covers like our childhood summers for the most part, other than like swimming. Like, I think it's so great that you and Jen and Lil Tone have your birthdays all in a line.
We were talking about that.
Yeah,
how like we kind of have.
Did we talk about that on the podcast, or did we talk about that like just texting?
I think just probably texting, but like we kind of like take over the summer in a way, like because Jen's June. And then I'm in July, and we have new little girl here. My brother's daughter is July, so we have 2 July birthdays now, and then we have little guy in August. And if you want to put it the other way, we have little Chris, my brother's son. He's in May, so we have May, June, July, and August, all down a row.
That's a lot of partying.
Yeah,
good for you. So, guys. And celebrating.
Yeah. Yes. So we definitely like the coming into summer and then throughout the summer. It's just always like, okay, we have one party, and then 2 weeks later, you got to start planning for another party. But that's like the Italian thing, right? You're always thinking, like, okay, well, party here, party there. That's one thing. I mean, again, we're always going off in tangents. But when I first met Jen, I come from an Italian family, but we were like, low key Italian family. We didn't really have a lot of like, family parties and everything.
Bangers.
Yeah, we didn't have a lot of bangers. But when I met her, she took me to one of her first like family parties, and there was humongous amount of people, and I'm like, oh, okay, you guys like to party, or you guys like to celebrate. And then it was like 2 weeks later, like, okay, we're going to another party. I'm like, we just went to one 2 weeks ago. What are you celebrating now?
Yeah.
And then it got to the point like they were always like
it was like
seeing each other
twice a month kind of thing. Yeah.
If not like more sometimes, like because you would have kids' birthdays, then like this birthday or this celebration, that celebration. So they definitely had the value of family. Yeah, and that, I mean, that's a big Italian thing. Like family is everything. So that's Absolutely. What kind of connected us too, and that kind of made our family even more meaningful to know that like not that we didn't before, but it kind of put us back into knowing that like we need to see each other more, and because family is definitely something that you don't get a second family,
right?
So you kind of have to just take up the times with the family that you have enough, because we all know life is short. Yeah. But that definitely put a perspective in me that hey, I mean, there's nothing wrong with seeing family more than once a year. At least for me, because I come from a smaller. I mean, my dad's family is real big. I mean, my dad comes from like 4, 5, 6 siblings.
That's my dad too, though.
So
he's one of,
and I think we talked about it on the pod before.
Yeah.
But yeah, so he comes from a big family. My mom, she has 2 brothers, but so that was something I always, didn't never really take for granted, that family can be washed out whenever, so you gotta have to take advantage of the family that you have.
Yeah, I mean, and not to get like insanely like super serious, but
yeah,
especially when you fall into the ruts where you're on the outs with a family member, whether it's like a extended family member or an immediate family member or even a parent, like that's always tough. Like I think I'd say between, you can speak for yourself here, but I know with me and my 3 sisters, like I've definitely gone through periods where I'm like, all right, like we'd either get into like a blowout or there would be something between them and my parents, and then they'd be gone for a little while, and I not like.
Oh yeah, we've all had those type of things.
Yeah, I think that my one sister, we didn't talk for maybe 3 to 6 months, or it was like very scarce.
Yeah.
My other 2, I think, well, my younger sister still living with my parents. We don't go that long without talking. And then, my oldest sister was the one, she had like a mild falling out with my parents at one point and then wasn't home for a while. This was, I don't know, I think she was in her late 20s. I was just out of high school, early 20s, and it's just weird to think like when you have, and there's extended family members that like there's been little things here and there where it's like hiatus or haven't talked for a long time, and it's like, what happens if someone checks out? Like it's not a fun feeling to think about, because it's like you got to do your best to try to mend, unless if like both parties just agree there's no, you're at the point of no return kind of thing. Yeah. And that's hard, because I know that people have family dynamics where they like, for their own mental health, it's like, I have to cut this particular person out.
And I think as you get older, you kind of, start being more prone to knowing the meaning of family,
and trying to work everything out,
and working everything, because you're like, okay, it's not worth it to kind of just do the whole, I'm cutting you out or cutting this thing out, unless it's meaningful. I mean, I know there's people that just do it just to, hey, I mean, it was just I know there's toxic families and stuff, but there's always times where you're like, okay, I mean, it's not worth it to kind of do the whole, I'm not talking to you, we're talking to this, let's just work this out, we're all both grown adults, let's just do this and then get back to on another foot. So
yeah, even if it's like you got to take the baby steps to get it back to a point where like you can walk in a room and not feel like the tension.
Yeah, absolutely.
You can just walk into the room and it's like, hey, we're here, and like,
hi,
we have a general hey,
hi,
general understanding of like, hey, let's be mature about this best we can, kind of thing. You know what I mean? So
absolutely.
All right, let's get back on track here. Summer things. So we well, you got through like the Wildwood, Cape May, Ferry.
Yeah, but we were saying that we bombed at Club 45, but before that, we were in Wildwood, and that was like, at least for me, my first like official like drinking weekend, and at that point, I didn't know my limit. I took it to the limit. And we'll take the story down to full hands, but like so the whole thing that we were talking about is the Cape May Ferry. I don't know about you, but I was hungover.
Yeah, man, you were bad.
And I was definitely bad. And I was trying to call my parents to be like, how you doing? Like, so how's everything going? Like, good. Yeah. Trying to fake like I was like normal, but
you got home a couple days later.
My mom's telling me, like, we knew you were hungover. like how could you tell? Like, because you were like not really yourself.
Because your dad already said 3 strikes and Jim's out. He already did.
That could have been the third one. But no, so we were on the ferry, and there's so many people on there, and we just see a couch, and we're like, let's go there. Yeah. We're sitting down, and I decided to start laying down on the couch, and all I do is just see the sea horizon going like this, and I'm like, uh-oh, Like, this ain't good,
dude.
Worst ferry ride ever.
We got to talk about the Terminator Eye, bro.
Let's. How about you go for it, since I did the ferry ride?
I mean, how do you pop a blood vessel in your eye if you're?
I don't know.
If you're just squinting real hard. But why would you ever squint really hard intentionally? You don't. It's because you're doing something else.
Yeah.
That will cause you to squint really hard.
Right.
Dude, you got so sick.
Oh my God, yeah. And I don't even think that's what made it. I think it was just from us watching Author. I was just dying laughing to the point where I just bursted a blood vessel. I was laughing so hard.
I thought it was from Wildwood. So I know
it probably could have, started from there too.
Could have been both.
Could have been both, yeah.
Like, the one night we're in Wildwood and sick.
Yeah.
Right. And I think even that morning before we left still. And then we took the ferry ride, and that wasn't exactly fun.
No.
And then we got to my parents' beach house in Rehoboth, and I introduced you to Arthur with Dudley Moore. If you've never seen it, classic watch.
Movie.
If you want to know anything about like the type of humor that we're into, I actually think we watched that movie and we became better friends, laughing our off at that movie.
Our references, like, for like the next couple of years, were because of Author, I think.
Yeah, and they still are. We still do it, and that's
Mm-hmm.
I mean, we're 17 years removed from high school. That's fun. 05, 2022. Yeah, about that.
Yeah.
17 years later, we're still making these Arthur references.
Oh yeah,
it's wild.
Classic.
Okay, so we got to segue into adult summer things, right?
Yeah.
So I guess
since I started out with my childhood stuff, you can kind of take the bait on this one.
We did the childhood stuff first. I wanted to do like past, present, future ish, which we're still plowing through after childhood. So now we got to get into, I guess, the last 17 years, right? Because we talked about the first. I guess that would be we talked about our own childhood summers before we met in 6th grade,
right? And
then we had 6 years that we just touched on.
Mm-hmm.
So I'd say, okay, so after graduating high school, we had that really fun, which in the intro, Vin, if you on the episodes that you do the intro,
if you guys pay attention to the intro photos,
where we have the high five and you're like this,
that moment,
you have that in there, right?
Yeah, that's definitely in there.
Was that a Nirvana t-shirt that you were wearing?
No, it was
no,
not at all. It was a stick figure and it said "Rock On," which I was definitely not rocking on that night.
Okay, good.
Okay, good.
No, we were having a fun night
that was my first taste of vodka.
Yeah,
and it definitely we were having beers the whole time, so I never really had liquor. So at that point, I didn't know liquor doesn't hit you that quick. So I take like one shot, and I'm thinking, okay, maybe 5 minutes later, I start getting a buzz. I'm like, oh, this sucks. Like, let me go get another one. And I'm like, all right, I'm not feeling anything. 30 minutes later, I am looking at the ceiling, bro. I remember sleeping in your basement on two little things like that, like the little stable chairs. It was horrible.
Oh man, but that was fun. Like,
fun times.
Yeah, my neighbors were over, which I had only lived here for 6 months at the time, so I had just started getting to really know them, and so we were all hanging out, and it was a good time. Was Kim there for that? I actually don't think that she was.
I don't think so.
No. But
no, I think we had a couple, friends over here.
I know
and there,
Kim became pretty good friends with my one neighbor, so that's that's a different timeline, which we'll talk about later.
Right.
Different time. So man, that summer, it's like anyone that graduates high school, if you're already working in high school and like doing the work thing, awesome. I know for me, I was like I started teaching some dance classes in high school. So like that was what I did. I also worked for my mom's boss at the time doing like landscaping type stuff. So I was like making a little bit of side cash.
Yeah, I was doing the movie theater thing.
That's right. I always forget that you worked concessions, right?
I worked at the AMC Grand Run 8. RIP.
Just got leveled off.
Yeah,
right?
RIP.
Finally.
So that was a fun time. And again, I'll go into a short, but maybe we can go into like another podcast of like, early childhood like jobs that we had.
Yeah.
So I'll definitely go into more further, but that was fun. Like I'll tell you the one thing that made me quit the job was the fact that I was in the concession stand, getting somebody's food. I go to get their popcorn. I see a mouse go across the floor. And the guy's like, "Did you see that?" I'm like, "No, here's your popcorn, go." Like, I think 2 weeks later I quit.
No, you put in your 2 weeks that night.
Okay, I'm good.
Yeah, I don't blame you.
No.
Oof. God.
But no, they were fun times too. I mean, it was because I was supposed to start a band at that point, and we were all like, "Okay, we're committed. Let's just go get jobs so that we can fund whatever we're doing." I go get a job. Band doesn't fall through. So I'm like, all right, well, I'm just stuck with this job, so let's just go.
That's great.
Yeah.
Oh man. Yeah.
I mean, we'll edit out the name, but I was gonna start a band with
Okay.
And we were gonna start it. I go get a job, and then maybe like 2 weeks later, like, yeah, we're not gonna do it. So I'm like, all right, well, I had a job then. So
nice. Now, was that after high school?
That was within high school.
Okay.
And then ironically, he became the drummer for Original Sinz.
That's right.
When we first started.
Okay, so you did the movie theater thing, and then that band that you were forming with the other two that you just mentioned was before Original Sinz.
Yeah, they were before, and that never happened.
Okay, that's why I don't know. I don't know about
it. One guy was going to be bass, and then drummer, and then I was going to be strict, guitar and vocal, like kind of like a Hendrix Experience type of thing. I was thinking,
sure,
because I was big Hendrix. Obviously, I was thinking, okay, Jimi Hendrix type of experience thing, three people, but never went off the ground. I was left with a job, and then later I get hooked up with the Original Sinz. They were already established. I came in there, and then they needed a drummer, so I knew, and I'm like, all right, well, let's just bring him in. So that's how that happened.
Perfect. Yeah, I'd say after high school, okay, first year of college, I still competed in dance. So the next summer, we actually didn't do Ocean City, Maryland for the nationals. We did a different nationals. That was, I want to say it was like Mays Landing. It was like near AC, or I think it was Egg Harbor.
Okay, like
down southern Jersey. We did really well, and I was like, okay, I'm good. I'm done with the competition life as a kid. So then, I mean, because of that, I was like a college student, and I was still teaching. I started teaching more. I was still working for my mom's boss, and then I think then I was going down to Rehoboth more. Like I had become comfortable with the drive more.
Yeah.
So I was doing that a little bit more, and then I'd say, let me think here. I'm talking summer 06. Let me see. Summer 07 was when we opened a studio. So I was in the heavy with all of that. We were still doing like some of the beach trips, but we were like really establishing and trying to build up like the program. Yeah. And then that August, we held our auditions, and I know I talked about this, I think maybe episode 1 or 2. Mm-hmm. We had an influx of kids come from another studio, and I was like, oh my God, we have like a school, like a program. It was wild. Mm-hmm. So I think after that, it was like summers of 2008 and 9. Yeah, 08 and 09, it was like, okay, I would teach summer classes for like 4 to 6 weeks. And then I was like off, or would just work for my mom's boss, like here and there. Didn't have like a heavy work schedule or anything. And then I started working at Wawa the next year.
Okay.
So through 10, 11, and 12, those summers, I had Wawa as additional income type thing. Summer of 2012 was when I did the LA trip for 6 weeks. So that was like, I'll always remember that because I saved up for the trip so that while I was out there, I didn't have to work.
Yeah.
But again, I know I talked about that on here before where it wasn't realistic. Like of all the times I considered moving to LA to pursue dance, it's like, it won't be like that because I got to figure out what to do, like to survive. Like,
right.
I would need another job to work on top of trying to train all the time. Right.
Right.
So I think after that, it was like summer 13. I wasn't at Wawa at the time because once I left for LA, I was done. And then I went back. I went back again. I want to say 2014 to 2015. That sounds about right. Yeah. So what happened was somewhere in like between 2012 and 2014, the studio was actually doing well enough that like it started paying me a little bit more. So I didn't need Wawa. But I started teaching more in the summers. I was picking up guest classes. So as time went on, I started really working a lot in the summer. So I'd say I want to go back maybe 3-4 years ago. I had the summer where like every week I was in 3 different places and it was always changing. I was teaching like just so many different random like workshop class type things to the point where I was like, oh my God, get me back to September. So I'm like a regimented Monday I'm here, Tuesday I'm here, Wednesday I'm here, Thursday I'm here, Friday I'm here, Saturday I'm here, and every other Sunday I'm here. And I did that for a couple years until COVID hit. And then we had COVID summer where everyone was like, the first COVID summer I went to Ocean City, Maryland. Didn't go on the beach, but I walked the boardwalk with like my mask type thing.
Yeah.
That was definitely super weird. And then last summer, I didn't get to the beach at all. I think we went up to the cabin up in the center of PA a couple times.
Yeah, we went once to the beach and that was it. Trying to get, we have a couple setups for the beach this year, so we'll definitely get there more this year. But like you were saying, I think this summer is going to be a lot more normal.
Yeah.
So it's cool that we'll be able to get, down to the beach or the shore.
Jersey.
A little bit more. The shore more. So that'll be cool, kind of getting back to some type of normalcy.
Yeah.
Which is, I think, what we all need.
Yeah.
But,
I think, like, just to kind of like round out the summer thing, what is somewhere that you would like to go in the summer, like in the future? Because I think I got myself caught up to at least now. I'd say your summers, like in the past 5-10 years, have been basically like, well, you've been working at you've been at your job since like
2009,
13 years.
Yeah. I put in some time, but they were lucky. I was lucky for them to, pick me up right after college because I put in a lot of like, time for applications and nobody, was picking me up. And then they were like, all right, well, we'll pick you up. And then I officially went full time in June. So since June of 2009, I've been, working with the company. So it's been cool.
Right.
But as far as a spot that I would love to go in the summertime, I mean, I don't think I've been to Florida in summer, but I've been to Florida multiple times, but that would be really fun. But I would have to say, since you've been there a lot, I would love to go to Key West.
Yeah. Jeez.
That would be fun. Maybe when little guy gets a little older that we can, manage, do like a little trip to Key West and, get him down there. I mean, we'll go to Florida eventually. We're trying to plan out that, soon, hopefully.
Jen's brother lives, I know I've asked this like plenty of times. Is he close to Orlando or?
Yeah, they're within like 2 hours of Orlando.
Okay, that's not bad.
So they're not too bad. So we can they're still within a decent amount of hours to go to Disney World and stuff.
Gotcha.
So I mean, but like we've been to Disney World. I've been there as a kid. I've been there a couple times with our niece and everything. But like, I know you've been to Key West a couple times, and I've never experienced the Key West thing. I think that would be pretty cool.
It's funny you mentioned that. That reminds me, the 3 times that I've been to Disney World, the summer after 8th grade, the summer after 10th grade, and the summer after 12th grade. Now summer after 12th grade, I didn't actually go dancing. I know I talked about that on here. Because we didn't go on our senior class trip to Disney World. And part of that was because I didn't want to deal with like, okay, the rules are you have to be out of the room by this time.
The rules were just too strict, and
I wound
it's
up.
not like you're never going to go to Disney World,
right?
I mean, if you can afford it, go. But I mean, that's one thing you got to do as a kid, like. Especially when we grown up in the 90s, that was something like, okay, you got to go to Disney World at least once.
Yeah, Disney was just, and not that it isn't huge now, but
right.
Like, I mean, I got there 3 times in 5 or 6 years.
Yeah.
So I think, and the third time I went, I wasn't even scheduled to go to dance. I managed to swing in. I told the story on here already, but I'll just brief it again. My one teacher was going to surprise her fiance at the time, I think, and say, "Oh, I actually got you a ticket to go with us." And he's like, "I can't get off work." So they were like, "Jim, do you we already have a ticket paid for? Do you want to go?" I was like, "Yeah."
Okay, good.
Okay, good. Sí, bueno.
Yeah. Sí, bueno.
Yeah. So instead of going on a class trip and having to do all the rules, I got to go for free. Free waffle fries for free. Maybe a Coke to drink or something.
Unforgivable.
And then I didn't everything was paid for. All I had to pay for was my food. And that was it.
Perfect.
I had my park passes. I went out to dinner with my teachers the one night, and I hung out with friends of mine that were there. Mm-hmm. The one girl that I danced with, her cousin graduated with us. I'll tell you her name off air. And we were pretty good friends through high school, and their whole family went, and their family is huge. So I was like, I'm hanging with the clan the whole trip. It was so much fun. They were so fun.
That's great.
Oh my God. So much fun. And then, yeah, I mean, that summer that I got to go there, I still did nationals because it was my senior year. So I wanted to do the Ocean City thing one more time. So I did that, but I just did my solos there because the team went to Disney. Mm-hmm. So the other 2 summers that I did Disney, we didn't do the Ocean City thing, but every other summer outside of that we did. Key West, I went in February the one time and in March the other time, because I was like, I want to find time to go to Florida when it's not June, July, August.
Yeah, that is true. I mean, that's I went to Florida when our niece was born, and that was in June, so it was considerably hot. So I mean, we've definitely experienced the Florida heat at that point.
Right.
But within, obviously for people in Florida, they have a lot of, hot days, but then they'll have rain almost every day. But it's not up here where it's just very sporadic.
Yeah.
You're going to get rain every day, but it's just for a sporadic amount of moments.
Yeah. Or you're getting a hurricane.
Yeah. Or you're getting a hurricane. Yeah. I mean, it could be just that or just a whole big, windstorm. So.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Do we want to kind of start wrapping this up a little bit?
I think so. Yeah. I don't have any real summer places that I'd like to get to Hawaii one day just because of how gorgeous that I hear that it is.
Oh yeah. My uncle and his now wife, they got married in Hawaii.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Oh.
So I was a little jelly. But yeah, so it was kind of I think he had planned it, but they had planned to go to Hawaii, but I think he had planned to, kind of do the whole, marriage thing out there. So that was cool. And then when they came back, we did a whole, reception thing for them, and it was Hawaiian theme.
Like this.
Yeah.
These little Hawaiian
Yeah, these little Hawaiian troll outfits.
Yeah. All right.
But if you guys have been watching, to this point, thank you for being the super fans of the podcast. We love you all. Throw those number ones up if you guys have been watching at this point.
let us know your summer experiences or any place that you would like to go in the summer, or if you've heard us talk about somewhere that we've been to and you want us to elaborate on that, we would absolutely love to hear from you. Okay,
yeah, leave it in the comments of YouTube, or I think we'll probably put a poll on Spotify,
or we have a Gmail account.
We have a Gmail.
You can always see.
Hit us up on Facebook, Instagram. We've been contemplating making a TikTok, so we'll think about that.
We're dabbling.
We're dabbling. We're trying to reach. We're trying to reach the peoples.
We're trying to reach out to the community, the peeps.
But thank you all for watching. This has been a fun little episode, something that we've been trying to plan out for the last couple months, and I think this went pretty well. What do you think?
I think so too. Like I said, when we opened the episode, we were trying to do the float thing, and this actually worked out well. You're like, as long as you don't mind standing for an hour, I'm like, dude, I'll stand in a pool for 3 hours. It's not even.
I think the water kind of, just masks any like muscle cramps you get
with the joints.
The joints with our old age.
Yeah, that's it. That's the one. The one set pod. All of our handles are the #1 SET POD. Remember them?
POD.
That's it. Maybe
Shouts out.
And cheers, my guy. Love you, brother.
Love you.
Mic bump. Do the thing.
Not this time.
Yeah. You'll see what that's all about at some point.
See you guys later.
Thanks, y'all.